I'm the founder of Body, which is a wellness brand designed to reframe the toxic narrative in the wellness space. The workout is designed to prove to yourself that you can do hard things. I was really unwell for quite a lot of my life with anorexia, bulimia. I was really actually sick.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. This podcast is about all things food, health and wellness, and in my kitchen this week we are joined by the gorgeous Lucy, who is the founder of Body. Now, Body is a sculpt workout class, but it is so much more than that. It is all about body positivity and feeling good in yourself. Lucy and I discussed her journey to Body, which had a lot of ups and downs, and she really struggled with body image and food insecurities growing up. So we do touch on quite a sensitive topic. There is so much amazing insight into this episode, and Body is a real movement, which I think we are going to be seeing a lot more of. On that, we are actually going to be doing a collaborative event, Catch Ups Community and Body, so definitely watch out for that on the 15th of March. As always, guys, thank you so much for all your support. Please keep supporting the podcast. And if you could follow, like, or subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. Now, enjoy the episode and let's go and meet Lucy. Lucy, welcome to the kitchen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Do you mind giving a quick elevator pitch? Who you are and what you do?
Okay. My name's Lucy. I'm the founder of Body, which is a wellness brand designed to reframe the toxic narrative in the wellness space. I'm Scottish.
I love it.
And I live between London and Paris.
Amazing. I'm so excited to hear all about Body. It looks like more of a movement, and I feel like that's what it's going to end up being, definitely.
That's what I hope.
100%. We have a quick fire round about all things food to kick things off. So what's your favourite restaurant in London?
I knew you were going to ask me this. On the way here, I was thinking, I'm actually really uncultured in London, I'll be honest.
That's okay. What's your favourite restaurant at the moment?
I can give you in Paris.
Okay, yeah, give us in Paris. Is that going
to be really annoying?
No, give us Paris.
I spent way more time there than I have in London, and I'll give a rubbish answer. So there's so many in Paris, but I feel like there's loads of TikTok trending places, but they're not the ones. I found this really good restaurant the last time I was there last week, which I never discovered. It's called Malro, and it's such good food. I think it's like Mediterranean food. I wasn't supposed to go there, and we couldn't get a reservation anywhere else, and we went there, and I'll be back.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It's in the 10th arrondissement, if you want to know where it is, but it's called Malro, Malro.
Love that. Okay.
It's my recommendation, not in London.
I need to go to Paris properly. I've only done it with work years ago, and I need to go back. So maybe you have to show me around.
Paris is its best when you don't follow the tourist traps.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trick of the trade.
That's a good tip. Okay, what's your go-to Deliveroo?
Oh, I'm going to be really annoying and say Atis.
No, I love this.
No, yes, but it's a lot of people are like, oh, of course.
No,
you're
but it's the
gonna
best.
Say that.
It's so the best.
Good. So good.
Yeah, agree.
I could eat that every day of my life.
Agree.
I could avoid it.
They've got, currently they've got a dirty collaboration with mushrooms. Know that. Oh my God. Phenomenal.
But how's that involved?
So I think they marinate the mushrooms with dirty and other marinades, and it's just a really umami mushroom. God, and then I think there's kale. Oh God. I think they have also mixed seed toppings, and that might have dirty in it too. Honestly,
I just love Atis. If I'm what do I really want? It is that
Atis, 100%. Okay, what is your hangover meal?
I'm a bit fragile on a hangover, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that, but I don't know.
I guess that would hit the spot.
I'm giving rubbish answers.
It's okay. Okay, what's your favourite coffee shop?
Favourite coffee shop? Foreign Exchange. I love it there.
Oh, where's that?
Have you been there?
No.
It's it's by Bayswater, near Bayswater.
Okay, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of.
Okay,
nice.
nice.
My geography is not great. It is kind of near there, but it's kind of like old newsagents, modern. It's really cool.
Okay,
it's
love
a cool
that.
spot.
And what food for you is a complete no-no?
I have a phobia of bananas.
Do you? Do you?
It's mortifying. I've never eaten one in my whole existence.
What about in a smoothie? Like blended?
No, never.
Banana bread?
I've never, I couldn't tell you what it tastes like.
Wow.
No, it's bizarre. Like
Wow.
everything about them is just horrendous. Why is that big yellow thing? I hate it so much.
No, this is too good. This is too good.
No,
Okay.
so that is what it is.
And then what's your favourite dish to cook at home?
Oh God, all the food questions obviously catch up in my kitchen. Favourite dish to cook at home? I love a really good omelette. I feel like you can put anything in an omelette.
So true.
And you could have it for any meal of the day.
Very, very true. Oh my God, no one said that. And
because it's a rubbish answer.
No, it's a good one because also I feel like a homemade omelette's probably better than one that you can get out. So I agree with you on this.
And you can pick what you're putting in there.
Yeah, you can put loads of things, even pesto.
Yeah.
By the way, great combination.
Oh my God, I'm trying that. That's my next omelette.
So good.
So maybe an omelette.
Okay, I love it. Right, my first question is a big question.
Go on.
What is the B-Body method?
The B-Body method. Okay, so essentially it's a workout, which is designed to be more of an experience rather than just a workout. So the method is a combination of functional strength and Pilates. Often people will say, oh, like this Pilates workout, but it's actually not a Pilates workout. It's functional strength placed into the format of Pilates. So it flows like a Pilates workout, but it's not really Pilates. Some of the movements are inspired by Pilates, but the workout itself is more of a strength-based workout than a Pilates workout. And it's centered around a form of meditation. So, and when I say meditation, I don't just mean like stillness. I mean like to fully center yourself and like regain control of your whole being. So the start of the workout starts with the meditation to allow people, because you know how it is when you go into a workout at like a class environment, everyone's like shifty eyes, everyone's looking around, it's rare that you fully connect with yourself in a class. By the time it's the end of the class, you've kind of been like, okay, right, now I feel like I'm part of the space, you know? So we start with a meditation. That's a really important part of the method, because it just allows people to like focus on their own mat. Like I reiterate quite a lot that like ignore everyone else, because that's a problem in like group fitness. Everyone's just thinking about, oh, like maybe I shouldn't like be a bit dramatic about my breath, or I shouldn't try to go a bit deeper in case I fail the movement. But actually like everyone's thinking that, so no one's bothered about you, they're thinking about themselves. I try to really make that clear in like all the classes I teach with the method. Like this is your workouts, no one else's. And the meditation at the start kind of like brings that into the space. And then the workout in itself is really, really hard. People get a bit of a shock when they come. At first, everyone's like, oh, like let's try this little Pilates workout, but it's a really intense movement. There's some hybrid movement in there with like some heart raisers, some like high intensity movement. And then it finishes again with the cool down. So you kind of do like a 360 on like, it's more of like a mind body adventure rather than a workout. That's what I like to say, because it's like really hard to describe. It's something that can kind of only be felt, if that makes sense. It's a really powerful movement. But yeah, it's hard. But the workout in itself is a testament to what we stand for as a brand, that you can do hard things. I say that all the time, and it's such a simple phrase, but it makes so much sense. Like just because something's hard doesn't mean you can't do it. And that's like what the workout is a test of. Like you just press yourself to your absolute capacity, physically and mentally, and then like you can apply that to you know, if you know yourself, if you get through a really hard workout, you're like, oh, I can do anything
completely.
Like I can do anything. I can get through a hard moment in work and like conversations, relationships. Like, so the workout is designed to prove to yourself that you can do hard things.
This episode is brought to you by Wild Market, the online farmers market where farmers, fishermen, growers, pickers all come together to share the products and produce that they have grown and made. It really is the magic of a farmer's market from the comfort of your home wherever you are in the country. If you want to know more about Wild and their journey, Ella, the co-founder, came on Catch Ups in My Kitchen in episode 116. So check that out to hear more. As you guys know, I have been reintroducing a few animal products into my diet after being plant-based for about 6 years. But what's really important to me on my journey is where I get my animal products from. And Wild has been a huge part of that journey for me. For example, I can get fish from Cornwall 2 days after it has been caught. And it really does not get much fresher than that. Wild Market opens on a Friday and closes on a Wednesday, and then it's all delivered to your door in one convenient box on a Friday. So whether you are looking for dairy, meat, fish, pasta, Wild Market has you covered. Go to www.wild.market/mykitchen for £15 off your order. That is Wild spelt WYLDE. Then it is .market/mykitchen. I'll add all the details in the show notes. Thank you so much, Wild, for providing a service I'm absolutely obsessed with. Guys, if there's one thing you do this year, you've really got to place an order with Wild. Now let's get back to the episode. I love it. Yeah. It is definitely a whole mind-body thing. And obviously holistic health is what everyone kind of talks about now. Mm-hmm. I'm so bad when I get into a class and they ask me to do meditation or ask me to just sit for a minute. I am so bad at that. My brain is like...
And you're like, come on, let's go.
Let's get into it. Come on. I'm like itching to start. But I know what you mean. That kind of like centering yourself is so important.
And I think like I'm the same. And like, honestly, the creation of the method, like... It's everything that I needed in a workout that I know I needed and I know that other people need too. I struggled the same. I'm like, come on, I'm here to work. Yeah. Like, let's go.
Let's get on with it.
But actually, like, if you don't like fully connect your mind to your muscles, yourself to the space, like your soul into the room, it's kind of pointless. You're brushing through movement and like you won't gain much from that. And I know it can be a bit annoying. And sometimes I hear myself, I'm like, Lucy, shut up. I'm like, breathe. I'm like, listen to my breath. But like, without that, like, really your workouts don't mean much. Like, I mean, obviously every workout serves a different purpose and not every workout needs to be the best one of your life. I'm completely with that. But I think like there's tiny things that we can do that we're just shy about doing, like breathing. I'm like, make noise with your breath. If everyone does it, no one feels stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
And I like people to think like they're moving together. Like the class works in complete harmony. So I do the whole class with everyone, which is like great in theory. But like when I teach 5 a day in Paris, I'm like, oh, my poor legs.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
It's my glutes. So I'm like, my poor glutes. I need to stop doing so much sculpt. But it's important everyone moves together because it like builds an energy in the space. And like when you breathe and like there's tiny changes you can make to your workout that completely elevates it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Completely. I always think this about ClassPass. So I always think people who use ClassPass, I'm like, I don't know how much of a workout you're actually getting because you're hopping from different studios, different instructors. People aren't going to correct you because they haven't got time because they've got to move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. You're so wary of the space you're in, the equipment you're using, the person you're next to, that I don't feel like you fully push yourself because it's all new experiences all the time. Yeah. Whereas when you get into something where someone's actually saying like, right, come on, like focus, breathe, don't be shy, all these things, like I feel like you are, I know for one, like when I get to a class that I don't know and I have a reformer machine, trying to work that out.
Scatty brain.
It's scatty and you're not, like, there's so much you can achieve in 30 minutes with a workout. We don't need to be in the gym for an hour and a half. We don't need to be in the gym for hours and hours. You know, there's so much you can do in 30 minutes if you are mind-body connected.
That's the thing, it's the connection. Like, I always say that, like, if you... And connection and like going back to what I said about like ignoring other people, like because if you got like shifty eyes or like anything shifty, your body follows. Like the workout starts in your mind and then the muscles follow. So like you have to connect to the space first. And like, of course that doesn't always happen. Like we're human and we have life things going on. But I just like to think like with the method, you know, like people come into the room, they almost don't have a choice. Like they're just cultivated in this movement. And I mean that in a physical and like a spiritual sense, that they don't even have the opportunity to think, one, I can't do it because everyone's moving, we're moving together. And two, like, oh God, like I need to like take the chicken out the freezer. Like you don't have the time. Like the workout is curated so that people like are almost forced to be present, if that makes sense. That's also why it's hard, because if a workout's easy, you have time to think. And not every workout should be hard. Like I need to make that clear. I'm not saying every workout has to like mean the world, but like the method is designed for people to come and enter a space. It's almost like a sanctuary that you enter. And like a lot of people do ask me like, how is the method different? There's loads of workouts. And like, yeah, there is loads of workouts and I know that. But it really is something that you can only feel, like you can't describe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a meditation as well in itself.
Yeah.
When you're so focused on something that you can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
So not only are you starting with a meditation, but you're putting people through a process, which is also a type of meditation, which I think is so good. You come out feeling physically and mentally like stronger. Yeah. Which is amazing.
And that's the thing, like when I say meditation, I don't just mean like breath work and like stillness. Like I mean like like to just take back full control of yourself. And like honestly, like the name B-Body is a bit random, I'll be honest. Like there was no real reason behind it, but the more the brand like develops, the more I realize that like there's a purpose behind the name, like to be fully present within your body, within yourself. But that wasn't a thing when I created the name. No, it wasn't. It was a bit rogue.
But I always think with names, like the best names come to you without you brainstorming and without you thinking about it. Like Catch-Ups in My Kitchen, I cannot remember.
But that just makes sense.
It makes so much sense.
That just makes sense.
But I don't remember coming up with the name. But now Catch-Ups, everyone's always laughing like, oh, Catch-Ups with, you know, it just happened. And it is the perfect name. But I don't ever remember sitting down and brainstorming, what am I going to name this podcast? It just came.
It's true. I feel like big decisions like that just make me think maybe I won't do it.
I know, yeah.
I hate a big decision like that.
So how did you come up with this? Let's go back. How did B-Body even begin? What were you doing before B-Body and how did you kind of discover it?
So I'm actually originally a professional dancer. I'm going to end up giving you my whole life story.
I love it. We can do life stories.
I moved away from Scotland when I was 16 to study at the Northern Ballet School, and I lived there for 3 years. That's where I got my performing arts degree. Then after that, I worked in like loads of different shows, contracts abroad, so like France, Berlin, Spain, etc. After graduating, my first contract, I was actually a Disney princess.
Oh my God, I love that.
And then I did like loads of things. But in between these contracts, I trained to be a trainer. Because from a very young age, actually, I've always been connected to movement. As a dancer, obviously, that movement is in a different sense as a dancer, but also like fitness was like, I'll be honest, like I did have a very bad relationship with fitness and my body and stuff, but we can get onto that later. But anyway, it's always been a big part of my life. So like I like could collect like what was missing everywhere. Like I knew what type of workout I would want to do, and then like on social media and stuff, like what type of workout like was I trying to find, you know, like, and I could never find it really. Anyway, there was a period of time where I was before my previous dance contract was a cabaret in Paris, but before I did that, I spent a bit of time in London, and I worked. Do you know Core Collective?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Core Collective. That was the best.
Yeah.
So I actually worked there as a trainer for like a few months before I moved to Paris, and I taught this concept they had a concept called sculpt bands, which is sculpt with resistance bands, I suppose. there wasn't a very like strong like narrative of what the concept was, so there was like a lot of room for like exploration and stuff. And just like the way I started to teach, like it wasn't a method, it was just like the way I taught. I started to develop it a little bit. Then I moved to Paris. Sorry, I'm like yap.
No,
I worked in the cabaret for like 18 months, and whilst I did that, I got a job at a studio in Paris, and they were like, what do you want to teach? And I was like, oh, I'll teach sculpt. Like I just like thought, well, let's just call it sculpt. And I was like, I can bring some elements of what I taught, but like I could now really develop something. And I started to just like teach like what anyone would deem as a sculpt class, like a combination, like hard Pilates, I suppose. And then like they loved it, the audience in Paris. Like every class was waitlisted, like it was really, really popular. And I was like, wait a minute, there's like a really big thing for this here. So I stayed there for a little while, and like that's where I really developed the concept. It was just originally called Sculpt. Then I decided I was going to move back to London to like, you know, Paris is great, but there's no wellness scene, which is great for the growth of B-Body, but not in that moment. And also kind of right now, you almost like sometimes need to be in saturated markets. Like you need to be around what you're trying to grasp onto.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because competition is good because people are looking for it.
Yeah. And also like if you're always the best, how are you going to get better? Do you know what I mean? And like in Paris, like I knew that I was good at and I don't say that lightly. If anyone knows, I'm not like, yeah, I'm amazing, but like I know I'm good at this. And like maybe that's why I find so much purpose in it, because like there's not one part of me that thinks, oh, like maybe I'm being a bit silly. Like so yeah, I thought I'll come back to London, whatever. The studio in Paris were like, we'll pay you to come back every month and teach it. And I was like, oh, like, okay. Like, so then when I came back, a close friend in London was like, you need to make a business. Like, you can't just teach a class called Sculpt. Like, everyone does that. And I was like, yeah. And then he kept saying, you need to start a business. Every time I see him, like, and I was like, hold on a minute. Like, let's just create a whole thing around this. Like, yeah. So then the workout itself got branded B-Body Sculpt Method rather than just Sculpt. And then I was like, oh, like I could create a whole brand around it, like a whole movement, not just about the workout. The workout, yeah, drives the brand, but the brand in itself is designed to like take wellness away from the fitness scene, because that's how it feels when people do the workout. They do a hard workout, but they're not like, oh God, like fitness, you know what I mean? So, yeah, then I like cultivated the brand, and it only actually launched in March of last year. So it's still new. It's still very new.
It's so cool and exciting.
I think like people are still scared to lift weights, and it's a movement that we came far away from a while ago. But I hate to say it, like the wellness space is kind of gone back the way in that sense. The whole like Pilates girl movement, and that's why I'm like, it's not a Pilates workout because it makes me really sad, because we pulled so far away from that narrative that like to just do cardio and like body weight, and like we got so far away from it. And then like there was this whole movement like last year, like Pilates girls, like, and great, yeah, that's the thing, but like the way it's deemed on social media is like all these like tiny models doing a reformer class, and everyone thinks now that's what they do to look like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you kind of like slightly against the movement of Pilates girl in quotation.
I think like Pilates is great. It's actually an amazing form of movement, and it's not about Pilates as a movement that I'm against. I'm against like the cult that we've created, and like it's just so difficult because like there are trends on social media and like people dip in and out of things, but it's like I just hope one day we realize that like we don't need to just follow what everyone else is doing to like find our version of like being well, if that makes sense. But yeah,
it's an interesting point actually, and I think you know, Pilates has completely exploded onto the scene, and it's a great workout.
It's a great workout.
But you're right, you still can lift weights. Like I like to do 2 So I do like 2 strength, 2 Pilates, 2 run.
Yeah.
And like that works for me. Again, don't necessarily follow that, but that's what works for me.
And that's the thing, like I think everyone's like either on social media tells everyone everything, great, but like that doesn't work for everyone. And like almost like you need to explore a lifetime of movement to find what works for you, and what works for me now might not have worked for me before.
And
like
change.
do you know, like, and people change and your lives change. But yeah, going back to the strength training thing, like that's a really important element, because I think, I don't know, like without talking about body composition too much, like strength training is what gives you the results that you want. You know, like people are so scared of it again, but that's the thing that you need to do to get where you want to be, like, and also like for your mind as well, like and for life, like if you can lift things, you can get, you know, I always say, like when I've got all my event equipment, there's like 25 sets of weight, so that's 50 kilograms, all the brand and stuff, everything. It's just me that takes it all. And I think this is why we strength train. Well, like obviously not everyone's doing that on their daily basis, but like, do you know, like you to be capable of things. But yeah, go back to your question, like sculpt in general, I suppose is just like a strength-based form of movement. It's hard to describe what it really means without going into a toxic narrative, and that's what I've like really tried to, as the brand develops, to pull away from a little bit,
which I think is great and really refreshing. I think if anyone wants to go on the Be Body page, it's so empowering, and like it's a feeling.
I'm glad you say that, because
it's definitely a feeling. The music you pick, everything, and it is a vibe, not a description.
And
I think is great.
I hope people look at the page as well, and it's not really about the page, like it's not even run by anyone's social media like with that kind of like strength, but I hope people come to the events and like the pop-ups and the residencies and look on the page and like they feel good. I would just hate, it would be like, honestly, it would make me stop doing it if people felt bad about themselves, like, because there are so many wellness pages and like so many things that provide value to some people, but also so many that really drive this toxic narrative, and I just try so hard to pull away from that. But that can also make marketing really hard, because you want to see sculpts, you want to see like all these like tiny girls and like sexy guys, and like that's what makes people buy things. So that's why sometimes I'm like, gosh, like it's hard to then sell things and do things without that toxic narrative. But that's why the wellness space works on rotation, because people are driving it with that.
But what you're doing right now is great.
Thank you.
I'd love to touch on like your relationship with health, wellness, body image, exercise. You touched on it a little bit earlier and said that you used to have like a toxic relationship with exercise. Touch on that and how it's kind of translated to where you are now.
Well, yeah, so when obviously like training at a ballet school is actually exactly how you imagine it to be. I was really unwell for quite a lot of my life with like anorexia, bulimia, like I was really actually sick. But when I went to before going to ballet school, so this is like early teens, like from actually a really young age, I can't honestly think back to a time where I didn't have a bad relationship with my body, I'll be honest. And it's really sad. Like before, like actually at Christmas time, my family got out the like old recordings, and I'm so young in some of these, like 9 years old, and I remember the feeling like wearing the clothes and thinking I looked fat. And honestly, I was so upset, because I was like, I'm tiny, like not tiny as in like I'm so young, like it's so sad. But anyway, like that obviously develops with like pressure and time, and going into then like to train as a professional dancer at a ballet school is only going one way. Do you know what I mean?
With a load of girls who also may be feeling similar. It's a very tough environment, I can imagine.
And I'll never forget my first day at ballet school. One of the teachers said, I probably shouldn't be using this.
Go on, it's okay. It's a safe space in this kitchen.
One of the teachers said to me, it's kind of comical now, but trust me, it wasn't at the time. Oh, I could suck your belly up with a Hoover. You can laugh. Awful.
What?
I was so tiny. So you can laugh. It's funny now, but it wasn't at the time.
That's horrendous. How old are you? 9?
16. No, 16.
Anyway, oh my gosh, that kind of comment doesn't
but
leave you.
That's like a tiny comment, and they develop, and like anything said at ballet school, you know, between the girls, between the teachers, whatever. Anyway, when I was in training, I was really unwell. Like I got admitted to a hospital and stuff. I was really quite sick. And then, you know, like you think you get better. Well, actually, I had no choice to get better. I went into the school and they told me if I didn't like gain this weight over the summer, I wasn't allowed back for my 3rd year in training. And like, you know, like ballet schools are so hard to get into. Like, I don't think people realize like the trade, like it's so hard to get into these places. I'm like, I can't not go back because I'm obsessed with food. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like I didn't really have a choice, and like maybe I like gained a little bit of weight, but in my head that almost made it worse, you know. And then that was kind of like a forever battle. I thought maybe I was better, but then you go into work as a dancer and like you know what, I'm saying as a dancer, but I think as a young female, a lot of people experience these feelings, like maybe not to the full extent, but like you dip in and out of like feeling like good and then like going back into like a toxic narrative in your head, or like speaking badly about yourself. And like we all go up and down, like some people way more extreme than others, and it is sad, but I think, I don't know, there are things of like that whole journey that obviously I don't wish upon anyone, but if I hadn't like gone through all of these things and like been at such low points, I would never be where I am. And I think like that goes with anything, like any bad moment or time or like position, whether you don't see it at the time, it has a purpose of some kind. And like I say that like it was like a couple weeks and then I was fine. Like this is like years and years and years and years, and like I've seen like therapists and stuff about it, but you know, I probably should like still see someone about it, because like I'm not unwell anymore, but like I think people think, oh, like great, you know, like to own a wellness brand and like to teach these classes, and like, and this is not just me, this is like in general, that people think you you yourself think that you then have to be fine. Actually, like no, like to feel good in yourself is like a lifetime like journey. And like it's not just like, okay, now, because almost like for years I feel like I waited to be fine to then think, okay, now I can like put myself out there as like a wellness expert and like all that. But actually, like, why would I wait? Because like most people think like me, so why can't I like help people on the way there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're creating something for people going through this.
Yeah,
so
and
it's,
like
it's so much more real and authentic.
Yeah, and then on loads of different levels. Like it's not, you don't need to have had like an eating problem or like or disordered thoughts to struggle in your own body, you know, like, and honestly, that's why a B-body is really special, because I'm creating like a movement that I know I needed, and that I know other people need too. You know, like completely. I know people need this and they just don't know they need it, you know. And I hope one day it is known as this thing, this like movement, that people want to be part of this, like, you know, like I say cult, but like I want it to seem like people are part of this like collective where like, yeah, you do hard things, but like you do it together, and like there's no like toxic drive behind it, you know.
Completely.
But yeah, I suppose without all that struggle, I would never. Actually, there's so many areas of my life I wouldn't have even like dipped into.
It's part of the narrative, isn't it? It's part, and like our lives is like a book, and it's just a chapter which makes up the narrative of it.
Yeah.
And I think I always have this discussion with people about whether you ever get over an eating disorder or whether you learn to live with it. And I sadly don't think you ever get over it.
I don't think you do.
Because the thought might come into your head and you'll learn to turn the thought away, but the thought will still enter your head.
Yeah, yeah.
So what does wellness mean to you now? And like, what are some of your kind of wellness non-negotiables?
Wellness to me just means to be well. You know, to feel good in myself. Like, I was on a run on Saturday and I looked around and I thought, like, everyone, wellness or like progress just looks so different to everyone. Like, to some people it might look like, because I think people think like wellness like fitness, stress, be tiny, or like, eat greens, and like actually like wellness just means like, I think, to just feel peace within yourself, like within your body, your mind, like, yeah, like, and anyway, I looked around and I just thought, like, to some people, like, wellness, like, might mean, or like progress, whatever, might mean like starting. Some it might mean stopping. To some people it might mean like resisting against the like toxic, or not toxic, resisting against like the pressure of people, like, and some might be leaning into it for motivation, you know, like there's so many, it just means something different to everyone. And that's what I wish people would know, like wellness is individual and it really does mean something different to everyone. Like, yeah, to someone it might mean saying no to like a burger and chips, but someone it might mean saying and just finding peace within that decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
But also think like there's parts of wellness isn't all just like this like Zen thing. There are parts of it that's uncomfortable, but I think like you have to embrace the discomfort, whether that mean battling like thoughts in your head or like battling like physical strain. Like you have to embrace a little bit of discomfort to find peace within yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. And what are some of your wellness non-negotiables?
Give
me two things that you have in your day or in your week that mean something to you, that make you feel well.
I love to move. So like every day I'll move in some way, that does look different quite a lot of the time, like depending on like a lot of different things, but I love to move. And even if I don't feel like doing it at the time, I just always think like, how am I going to feel after? And like movement doesn't always mean like running 10 kilometers, like sometimes just like a walk, you know. And journaling, I don't know if that would
definitely
fit in.
Definitely.
One of my best friends, Ruby, always says like, if I'm stressed, she's like, have you written in your little book? She always says, write in your little book, and I always have Ruby in my head saying, write in your little book. But that just does really help. Like, I think without even realizing, we all have these thoughts, some more than others. Sometimes I'm like, my brain could explode with thoughts.
Does your brain exhaust you? Because mine exhausts me.
Like, and I'm like, I sit down to do something and I'm like, oh my God, I've got a million more things to do. Like, my brain is a stressful place.
I want to take the Duracell batteries out of my brain.
Sometimes I kind of wish I could be like hung upside down. And it just like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like full decompression. I don't know where I've got that idea from.
I had the idea because I'm like on all the time. I just had the idea of like taking out my batteries and just like putting them down. So I just zoom.
That would be amazing.
Because I was like, wow, what would that feel like? I'd love to. I
can't imagine.
Take them out and just, you know how like the TV just goes dark. That's my body.
I can't imagine that feeling.
I know.
But you're good because you have everything. Like half an hour plan.
Yeah, I do. But
do you remember when we met and I was like, wow.
You're like, you operate so differently.
Mine is like scatty. And no, it's not good actually. But anyway, I just think we all have so much going on. Like, it doesn't need to make sense. But for so long, I was like trying to write things that made sense. And then I'm just like, no one's going to read. Oh, I hope no one reads it.
No, hopefully they won't.
I hope no one reads that, because honestly, some of my thoughts. But no one's going to see it. Just write what comes. And it's actually like a really therapeutic moment of my day. Actually, every night I do it, and if I don't do it, I subconsciously know I haven't. Do you know what I mean? Like the next morning I would like wake up, like if I've written in my book, and sometimes I'm like, oh, like there's little moments of like pride and like joy, but there's also moments of like sadness. But I think it's important to just like sit with the emotion that you feel, because you got to feel it before you can let it go. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that would be my 2.
I love that.
Yeah.
So to finish off, we have a final question, which is, what would your last meal be? Starter, main course,
not the food
and dessert. She's like, oh, not another.
Do you know,
one.
I'm actually the worst at these questions. At my family parties, everyone asks them, and everyone goes so excited, and I'm like, guys, I don't know. I'm so indecisive that it stresses me. Okay,
starter.
Yeah, what's yours, so I can like go well?
Okay, so mine would probably be starter. I would say would be some sort of sushi, like a vegetable roll of some sort.
Nice.
But like a mixture of like asparagus, cucumber, pepper with like some crunchy bits on top.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Edamame beans. That's my starter.
Lovely.
Main course would be Lebanese, so it'd have be like roasted cauliflower.
God,
like
I love
aubergine.
I'm sorry, I'm so envious of people that like just so passionate and know this answer. Like, I'm stressed.
I get asked this quite a lot. I have 2 that I can flip between, but this is my normal.
Yeah.
But it'd be like a Lebanese. I like to have different flavors on my plate. So it'll be like a fattoush salad, and then like cauliflower steaks, and like tahini
Lovely.
and aubergine, and like hummus and all that. And then dessert would probably be my stuffed truffle dates. So
Oh,
dates
lovely.
with almond butter dipped in chocolate with sea salt.
Oh, yum.
Heaven.
Do you make them?
Yeah. Heaven.
No, I'm stressed at this question.
Come on, what's yours?
Okay, starter, basic, bruschetta.
Divine.
A good one.
Yeah, we don't want a shit one.
My answer is so awful.
Go. No, a good one.
A good one, not shit one. Main, tacos of some kind. Chicken.
Yeah,
tacos,
Mexican.
I
Spicy?
Not too spicy, but not bland.
No, don't want a rubbish one.
One of my friends jokes that I eat all my food really dry.
Oh, really?
I don't. Just compared to him. Dessert. I have such a sweet tooth. I could eat sweet things for every meal.
Oh.
A cookie of some kind, but not a shit one.
Not a shit one. I do love a cookie.
One. Like, what's your favourite cookie place?
Blondie's is quite good.
I've never tried that.
Yeah, Blondie's kitchen's quite
Have
good.
you tried creme?
Too much for me.
It is more like a scone.
Yeah.
It's like a big heap of...
Too heavy. Too
Yeah,
much. I want it a bit thinner than that.
Yeah.
But I want it gooey and warm, but that's too thick.
I can understand that,
Yeah.
to be fair. Anyway, some kind of cookie.
Lucy, thank you so much for coming
No,
on. I've
thank
loved
you.
this, hearing more about the Big Body Method. This is honestly a movement which is going to, you've heard it here first, it's going to blow up. It really is.
Hopefully, we've got some events coming up.
Amazing.
So yeah, hopefully it does.
Check them out. We're going to do a catch-ups in my kitchen B-Body collaboration event. We're going to go plan it right now. Just you wait. Just you wait. It's in the making. We're going to go plan it right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.